So you're thinking about moving to Orange County and you are dead set on new construction.
Brand new, no one's touched it before.
Yeah, you want new construction. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna talk about what are the pros and cons of new construction and where can you even get new construction in Orange County? Because Orange County is pretty much built out, right?
Yes, and also we're gonna tell you kind of what to avoid when buying new construction.
Yeah, and at the end of this video, we're gonna give you a story that's gonna, give you what you need to know about the fine print when it comes to buying new construction, so stay tuned. And as you're watching this video, you might have some questions, and when you do, don't forget to reach out to us, because I'm Courtney Dezahd, Sean Dezahd. We're with Keller Williams Realty right here in California, in Orange County, California. And yeah, so we are here to help if you actually, for all of your real estate needs. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So first, let's just talk about where can you actually get new construction.
Yes, okay, so basically you're finding in general in Orange County, because it's a pretty mature area, new construction tends to be happening more on the fringes of Orange County, like on the outer edges, rather than within. Now, having said that, there is some new construction taking place, like kind of in the center of Orange County too.
So the center would be probably like Irvine Great Park.
Yeah, the Great Park, exactly.
And then Tustin Legacy, which is, very close to the Irvine Great Park. Those are two areas, happen to be old military bases.
Yeah, that's why they could do new construction like on a larger scale, because basically Orange County being built out, these were two plots of land that basically were spoken for because they were military bases and they were decommissioned, and so therefore they were redeveloped into some like housing developments.
Yeah, and then another big area, and this is on the outskirts, that's like Rancho Mission Viejo.
Yes.
This isn't Mission Viejo, it's Rancho Mission Viejo.
Yes.
It's different, it's pretty far east.
Yes, exactly, like south and east, yes.
Yeah, and then you do have some new construction out in Lake Forest, again, far east, close to the Cleveland National Forest,
yes.
And right next to the Cleveland National Forest. Mm-hmm. And then there are, little pockets in other areas like Yorba Linda, again, pretty far out there though.
Yeah, and like other than those first four that we talked about, like really these are much smaller developments as far as scale is concerned. And again, within Orange County, you do have small developments all throughout. It's just that we're talking about like larger developments.
Yeah. So then you have to ask the question, like, how far are these places from, say, the airport? Like, if you have to travel a lot for business.
Yeah, so like John Wayne Airport is the major airport in the area. I guess it's technically an international airport because it flies into Canada and Mexico, but it's not really, the major airport would be LAX, which goes everywhere. John Wayne Airport, though, for its size, packs a punch. It actually gets you pretty much everywhere throughout the country for the most part. So it's a great airport, and also it's honestly a dream to go through compared to LAX. LAX is an absolute nightmare. John Wayne Airport is fantastic. Now, having said that, as far as proximity goes, okay, so the district in Tustin is actually pretty close. It's probably
the airport is in technically Santa Ana, but it's pretty much Irvine, right? Like, I always think of it as
the Irvine-Santa Ana border, right along the 405 freeway.
Yeah. So it's in the middle of Orange County. So when you're talking about a lot of these new construction, they are on the outskirts of Orange County, except for the Great Park and Tustin.
Yes, exactly. So the Great Park and Tustin, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. Like, so Tustin, probably about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Great Park, 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, this all depends on traffic, because traffic, depending on the time of day, can be all over the place. Orange County, while good at traffic, we're not a rural area, so we still have traffic impact. So, but as far as like the other parts, like, so if you're in Rancho Mission Viejo, if you're driving up to like the airport, it's gonna be, you may want to consider taking the toll road, because like the 73 freeway is kind of a nice way to circumvent a lot of traffic anyway. But if you're going, I'm never gonna do toll road, you're gonna be taking the 5 freeway, and it's gonna be a bit of a drive, again, depending on traffic, a good 30-40 minutes, I would say, to get to the airport from there. And the proximity to the airport, we're kind of like Lake Forest and Yorba Linda, kind of similar ideas as far as, because they're kind of on the edges, again, about that 30-40 minutes depending.
So you may be moving here to Orange County because you've gotten a job. And if you've gotten a job, you've likely gotten a job in Irvine, Newport Beach, or Anaheim, right? Because those are the big major job centers, specifically Irvine.
Yes.
Irvine's like a big one. So let's talk about the Great Park is literally at the biggest job center in all of Orange County.
Yeah, it's like right across the 5 freeway.
The spectrum.
Yeah, from the spectrum. So so location-wise, Great Park, you're pretty well set if your job is in the Irvine area. Honestly, Great Park is so centrally located, you're kind of good.
Yeah.
pretty much everywhere. Like, so it's depending on the Newport Beach Job Center or Irvine, you're pretty much well set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then when it comes, and Tustin too, Tustin is very centrally located.
Yes.
But then when it comes to the other, a lot of the new construction, like we've been hammering home, is very much on the outskirts of Orange County, very much far east into Orange County.
Yeah, and so you're probably looking
driving
at 25 minutes, 30 minutes from.
That's without traffic.
Yeah, and again, depending, and these are the major job centers, right? So, for instance, Anaheim is a major job center, so for Yorba Linda, it's actually relatively close. So,
that's true. Yorba Linda is close to Anaheim.
Yeah, and then conversely speaking, like, the Irvine Spectrum is, somewhat close, let's say, to Rancho Mission Viejo and Lake Forest. So it kind of depends on where your job is, and so that's where, again, you reach out to us, letting us know what what you need and where your job is located, and do you want to be super close? Because, for instance, I had a client that he was like looking for to work in a hospital, but he had his choice of different hospitals, and so he was kind of wondering, okay, well, he's really dead set on a specific community in Laguna Hills, and he just really wanted to be close to there so he could be on call but still be able to get to the hospital within like 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay, so let's talk about what is the difference between new construction in Orange County and old construction, because even though Orange County is not that old of a county, right?
Yes.
So what are the ages of the other homes here?
Yeah, so basically, I guess it depends on how you section it off. So, like, for instance, you have South Orange County, which things are built, I'd say, 1980s and up, really in 1990s and up. Mm-hmm. And then, for instance, like, Coastal Orange County, you had a lot of, like, existing beach shacks and all that stuff. They're built in the 1940s, 1950s. Mm-hmm. North Orange County is similar, actually. It's probably more, again, 1940s and 50s and up. Like, not to say they're all that old. It's just that we're kind of showing you the older range of the scale, and again, they get newer certainly from there. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of Orange County's lay of the land.
And then let's talk about, so if you are buying a new construction, that usually comes with Mello-Roos, right? What's that?
Yeah, well, so it's not everywhere. It's not all new construction. That's why, again, if that's important for you, to reach out to us, then let's explain what Mello-Roos is. You're like, I don't want to know Mello-Roos. I don't know what it is. But okay, so Mello-Roos itself is basically an additional property tax, like it's additional layer of property tax to help fund infrastructure. So like schools, roads, fire stations, all that stuff, right? So that money needs to come from somewhere, and so it comes from that new development that took place. So, and these Mello-Roos can last, as a general rule of thumb, about 20 years from the date of completion. So, and it can vary dramatically too. So as far as like, it could be a few $100s per year extra. It could be almost doubling your property tax rate, which could be rather significant. So, so you obviously have to take that into account when you're buying a property. Okay, one, does it have Mello-Roos? How high of a Mello-Roos is it? So, and does that fit within your budget? Because obviously when you reach out to us, we can kind of have that conversation, so we can do that digging for you to kind of find out, okay, well, this Mello-Roos rate is like $6,000 per year extra. This Mello-Roos rate is $20,000 per year extra. So it definitely can make a massive difference.
So now let's talk about the process of buying new construction. Let's say, everything we've said about, they're not being limited, or let's say you don't care. You want new construction.
Like brand new, like not a used home, but a brand new home.
Yeah, so how does the process work? Like, do you work with a design team? Like, is the house already built? So what exactly happens?
It varies, honestly, all over the place. It depends on what development you're looking at. And so again, that's where you reach out to us so we can kind of define specifically how far along, because obviously a home could be, like, they could already, they're already in the process of building, they just haven't sold it yet, so it may be only a few months out, but the specs are already set, right? So they're kind of already set. Maybe some finishing treatments, like the tile or like the kitchen treatments, that kind of stuff, maybe like that, but if you're actually changing if you want a different kind of floor plan, if they've already poured the foundation and starting to frame it, you're kind of, you are where you are. So it kind of, and also, well, what's nice about some of those things is that they're only a few months out from being completed, whereas if you're getting a home that they haven't broken ground yet, you may be looking at a year. So it all varies, and that's why you gotta reach out to us.
And then what is the process of buying it? Like how long is the escrow period?
As we were talking about before, it kind of depends on how far along that property is. If that property hasn't broken ground, that escrow is going to be a while. It's going to be maybe possibly a year out.
So can that affect your loan as well?
It can. Again, it depends on what kind of financing you get. So we had a situation come up where a friend of ours, they were locked into a loan. Things came up, didn't work out, right? And then so it didn't work out with that lender. The lender kind of said, oh, we can't do this particular property. So now they had to shop around at the prevailing rates of that day, which totally changed the dynamics. So again, that's why you reach out to us, so we can kind of hopefully get you through a situation where we kind of have you locked into a good loan situation, and you can, again, feel confident that you can finish that way all the way through.
And then people also have the question, should I just walk into the sales office and work directly with the builder? I mean, what is that?
Well, so, yeah, I mean, obviously people do that at times. I've seen them get burned because there is a lot of fine print. Like, we have to remember that sales rep is not representing you, they're representing the builder. The builder is who pays their bills. So just understand that you have no one to advocate for you, right? So you're kind of stuck on your own while you're, while the sales rep is helping the builder out. And there's lots of little quirks like that, when you're owning it, buying a new construction, like for instance, there's fine print, there's timelines. If you miss some of these timelines, your deposit may be in play where you may lose your deposit potentially if things go south. And obviously, as much as possible, when you have someone that's like advocating for you, like a realtor does, we try to help you obviously make sure we avoid as much of those kind of hairy situations as possible.
Yeah, and then what about an inspection too? Like a lot of people think, oh, I don't need an inspection because it's new.
Yes, exactly, and that's and it's funny about that is that I remember talking to an inspector actually not that long ago, and we were like, he would, like my client of mine was buying a 2-year-old property. He's like, this is the perfect age property because it's already gone through all the quirks. Like it's already been, all the little plumbing issues, all the little HVAC issues, all the creaking issues, all that stuff has already been sorted out, like it's like the kinks have been worked out, and now like when they do their home inspection, again the building's hopefully in good shape. The thing is that people think, oh, it's brand new, I don't have to do anything. There's potentially little quirks and kinks about the property. That's why you want to have a home inspector check it out to make sure it's all working correctly, because again sometimes things get missed, corners get cut, it's a whole variety of situations take place, and that's why you want to have a home inspection done.
So now let's get to the story that we, were teasing at the beginning to make you watch the whole video about, so this has to do with a friend of ours. They were actually buying a property and it was a different state. They, not only did their realtor, but their lender also missed the fine print dealing with the HOA, right?
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of this new construction, just so you know, in Orange County is going to be in a homeowners association. Just be aware of that, unless it's just a one-off. But what our friends were doing, that they were actually buying, it was an HOA within a master HOA, and they had conflicting language, and where basically it made it so that the lender felt uncomfortable enough where they said, we cannot actually do this loan. So they were kind of like frantically like looking at, so it was missed by. And
this was after like 8 months, right? That they were waiting for this thing to get built.
Yeah, so they thought that they would actually get this information a little bit sooner so they could make their adjustments. But they ultimately had to drop that lender, like frantically find someone else that could do it. But it was just this huge amount of crazy just stress that they had to go through. And at least for them, they were lucky that the interest rates weren't like changing.
Yeah.
Like right now, that could just put a like a dagger in the deal, because all of a sudden your interest rate was like locked in at 5%. If it goes to 8%, that's kind of a big difference there.
So that's why you got to reach out to us if you are, dead set on new construction, because that way, you won't be dealing with these caveats, these, nightmare scenarios that can happen.